What's up, America and the rest of the world? This is Earl, and I'm coming to you in my onesie. Welcome to the Earl Jones Show. Yes, since it's coronavirus and all that other cray-crayness, I'm working from home. Of course I am. Exactly. And I'm super excited and super grateful to share and be with you. So thank you guys for coming. And before we get into Earl, what's an umbrella? What does it do? Why do I need one? What does it not do? And what else can you tell me about it? Let's give thanks for at least one thing. I'm going to give thanks for two things. Number one, I'm giving thanks for my mama. I love my mama, and I'm super grateful that my mama asked me a couple of weeks ago or a while back or whenever it was. She said, Earl, why aren't you doing your videos? They were fun, they were crazy, the whole 9 yards. And I was like, Mama, you're just my mama. You're going to say stuff to make me feel good the whole 9 yards. And she said, boy, let me remind you, I brought you in this world. I will take you out. When I tell you that I like something, that's what I mean. Now, if I did not like it, I would tell you that I did not like it. Don't get it twisted. I was like, oh, yes, Mama. See, my mama is the old school mamas. See, my mama has a line in the concrete, not in the sand, in the concrete. And, and when you look like you might be 200 yards away from crossing that line, or you look like you might be approaching that line, she will snatch you up in a minute. She is not the play. And I love that woman. So thank you, Mama. And then second thing that I want to give thanks for is the fact that you're watching this video, that you click like, that's 3, that you click share, that's 4, and you've shared this with somebody, maybe a friend of me, somebody that gives you palimony, somebody that gives you alimony. I don't know, as long as you're getting some money, that's who you've shared it with, right? So that's 4 things already that I'm giving thanks for. See how easy it is to walk in gratitude? Just saying. Now, what are you going to walk in gratitude about? What are you going to be grateful about? All right, now let's move on. Let's do this quickly because I got a very full day, and I got stuff to do. I'm super excited. This onesie. I'm going to try to keep the name covered because, let's be honest, they don't give me like props or anything like that. So we're going to keep the name covered. But I've been wanting to do videos and be a little bit more crazy on, and you might hear a lot of background because people are doing yard work and all that stuff. But anyway, so what inspired this video? Child, let me tell you, the cray-crayness in the streets. I've had people tell me that their insurance agent told them that they would be covered and their property damage would be covered if something happens, and their umbrella coverage would kick in. I had one woman tell me that, oh, my agent said that my umbrella would pay for my house if it, is destroyed in a fire. You know what? I never drank, I was like, I need some water because my throat got parched. And I was like, okay. And then another person said that my umbrella policy would cover my damage to my car. I was like, another person say that my agent told me that my umbrella policy covers me, doing just about anything. I was like some of this stuff, I'm telling you guys, I cannot make this stuff up. Some of this, I'm just like going, no. Now, I will confess, it took the power of the God that I believe in to hold my mouth, to hold my tongue in. I was like, hold my mule, Jesus. Hold my mule. Hold the mule. Hold the mule. Whew. So let me tell you all what it does not do. An umbrella policy does not cover any of your items, any of your personal belongings. Why? Because an umbrella policy, what it is an additional policy, an add to, an optional, an extra, something that you pay extra for, right? A separate insurance policy that adds to the liability limits of your auto, home, RV, motorcycle, commercial, business insurance, commercial auto insurance, any type of insurance policy that you have that has a liability limit that is eligible to be added to an umbrella policy. That umbrella policy gives additional monies. Typically, it starts at $1 million and can go up higher depending on what company you're with, right? In the event that your underlying policy is maxed out. So that's what it is. That's all it is. It's just an extra insurance policy that adds to the liability limits starting at $1 million or more, and it only pays if and only if the underlying auto, home, boat, motorcycle, RV, business, commercial auto insurance, landlord policy, condo insurance, mobile home insurance, renters insurance policy that have liability limits, and there's a few others out there. Depending on what company, once those policies are paid out for liability, meaning that you caused damage, you caused harm to another individual, then the umbrella policy kicks in. Got it? Now I know some of you are going, well, Earl, I read an article that said it only kicks in when I'm getting sued. That is not entirely correct, because sometimes you don't always get sued in the middle when you're dealing with a claim and you've caused damages to another person. As a matter of fact, if you're in California, you better pray in the name of Betty Crocker, Martha Stewart, whoever you believe in, that your case does not go to court and you can settle out of court. That's one of the biggest reasons why you should have an umbrella policy, especially if you make more than $50,000 a year anywhere in the United States. Does not matter. Why? Because here in California or anywhere, once you pretty much go to court, those claims and your policy limits on your auto, your home, your boat, whatever, it's going to get maxed out. It's going to get maxed out. So that's what it is. That's what it does not. So let me give you an example of what, of how it works, which is this. Let me just say this. If anything that I say in these next examples sounds like your circumstances or your situation, and you think that I'm talking about you, just take on that I'm not. What do they say on Law and Order? It's based upon true stories, but all that stuff, right? So let's just say Barbara was dating Tyrone, and Tyrone was originally dating Shirley, right? Barbara's got 2 kids, Jack and Beanstalk. Yes, I know, I just made it up. No, let's change the other son's name to Jack and Dean. So Barbara's got 2 kids, Jack and Dean, who was with Tyrone, but Tyrone was originally with Shirley. So Tyrone cheated on Shirley with Barbara, right? But because Barbara has a nice little nest egg that he thinks is bigger than Shirley's, he decided to stick with Barbara because Barbara was, trying to do all those things that he thought that Shirley wasn't doing. But Shirley let him go because when Shirley called Barbara, Shirley tried to come at Barbara out of a paper bag, but it didn't make Shirley know, never mind. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of y'all know what I'm talking about when I talked about that. But anyway, so Dean and Jack decided to go for a car ride in Tyrone's car. Now, they're on the insurance. Tyrone and Barbara, they done got married, the whole 9 yards. They done shacked up in the whole 9 yards. But they did not have an umbrella policy. And Jack makes a right turn into a cyclist that had the right of way and turned right into that cyclist because he wasn't paying attention. Turns out that the cyclist is a young executive of a major tech company and makes a lot of money. But the medical bills alone is roughly, last I heard, it was medical bills and total expenses, loss of income was at $2.4 million. $2.4 million. Now, Barbara, in all of her wisdom, did not have an umbrella policy. So the auto insurance only paid that cyclist $100,000. That is it. That is all her underlying auto insurance paid that cyclist was $100,000. So that leaves Barbara with a price tag of $2.3 million that she's got to come up with in order to pay for Jack's accident. Now, at this point in time, Tyrone is going, I should have stayed with Shirley, but Shirley done changed the locks on the door. You hear me? So, turns out that Barbara was then ordered by the court to sell off or refinance all of her real estate holdings. She had to sell it in order to come up with the $2.3 million to pay off the guy that Jack hit. That is when you wish you had one, right? That's when you wish you had one. Now, let me give you an example of something crazy. And yes, this did happen. And yes, I'm going to change the names, the whole 9 yards. So let's say Michelle and Jackie decide to go hunting. Oh yes, women go hunting all the time. Don't get it twisted. And these two sisters decide to get up and go hunting, go deer hunting, get their kids, they got their gears, the whole 9 yards. They're in their tree stand, making the deer calls and all that stuff. And then Jackie, she's got the gun, and her girls, blowing that little whistle to get the deer to come around. Here's some tussling in the woods and, a couple of 100 yards away, and then she decides to shoot. Turns out she shot a guy in the butt. Turns out the guy that she shot in the butt owns a nice plumbing business, very successful plumbing business. Got a fleet of cars and got, 10 employees and very successful plumbing business. His medical bills was $1 million. His loss of income, just his income was $300,000. So a grand total of $1.3 million, right? Because if you ever get shot by a rifle that's designed to go hunting for deer, sorry. If you get shot in the butt, baby, that's a lot of tissue damage. Just saying. Just saying. So, here's what happened. Since those two are responsible, Jackie, my Jackie, she had an umbrella policy for at least, it was $1 million. And her homeowner's insurance paid the first 1 point between the homeowner's insurance and the umbrella, paid a grand total of $1.1 million because she was the one that actually shot, the person in the butt. And her home girl, her insurance paid the other $200,000 out of her homeowner's insurance policy because she had a higher limit on her liability. But she was involved in the accident, and so she had to pay out. So that is an example of having and why you should have one. Yes, because an umbrella policy, if you get the right one, and depending on what company you are with, can cover you while you're out hunting. It can. I'm just saying. So that's the example of how it works and why it works. Now, why should you have one? Neither Jackie nor her homegirl had, an extra $1 million laying around to give somebody. Nor the couple of $100,000. What they're going to do, pull it out of their retirement? Why would you do that when you could just simply get an umbrella policy and have things in place, right? And as I said before, what it does not do, it does not cover your stuff. So if Jackie had accidentally shot that man in the butt, dropped that rifle, trust me, there's no insurance policy that would have paid for that unless she had a personal article policy and might pay for that then. It's not always black and white when it comes to, stuff, because it just all depends on circumstances, right? So, but now let me give you a little extra. So some insurance companies that offer umbrella policies give their insureds the ability to add an optional coverage that mimics auto insurance coverage called uninsured underinsured, right? So if you have the uninsured underinsured on your auto policy and you have an umbrella policy, if the company offers it, you can add uninsured underinsured on the umbrella policy. Now, why would anybody do that? Because let me tell you something. You don't know if the person that hits you has insurance or not. All you know is that they hit you. But you don't know if they got insurance. And just because they get out of the car and give you their driver's license and their auto insurance, you don't even know if that policy is still enforced. So let me tell you all something. So when I was I think I was a junior or a sophomore in college, I'm driving to my old job at JCPenney, and I was singing some Fred Hammond. I was getting my groove on, giving the God I serve praise. You hear me? Being grateful for the fact I got a car, I had some money in the bank, I got a place to stay, I got food, I got clothes on my back, giving God praise for the blessings of life, right? And while I'm minding my business, as I'm on Wilma Rudolph Boulevard, I'm getting ready to cross, past that Amoco gas station that was on the left-hand side back then, and there was a Dollar General store on the right-hand side. And this woman comes out and she hits my 1994 Honda Accord. Oh, I remember this one to the day, baby. She hits it. And you could see all the colors, come out of her knuckles and out of her hands. Like, she just is like, oh my God. I get out of the car. I ask her if she's okay. She says she's okay. We called the police. Police shows up. Super nice people. Everybody's nice. Everybody's friendly. And she gives the driver's license. She gives the insurance. I believe the insurance was Geico. I think. I don't remember that. I think it was Geico. So I called my insurance agent, told him what happened. He was like, are you okay? I was like, yes. I give him all the information, the whole 9 yards. He says, okay, let me handle it. So he handles it. Few days go by. Get a phone call from the claims adjuster. It says, hey, Mr. Jones, glad to hear that you're okay, the whole 9 yards. But it turns out that even though she gave you an insurance card that shows that she has insurance, her insurance was canceled due to non-payment. I was like, what? What you say? So, in the end, my auto insurance wind up paying for the car to get fixed, paid for my car rental, paid for everything. My medical bills, the whole 9 yards, right? Took care of me. Why? Because I unfortunately have an aunt who's been in the insurance industry for pretty much more than half of my life, and she taught me about how to get the right auto insurance options to make sure that I always have options. Huge shout out to my Aunt Jan. Aunt Jan, we love you. Thank you, baby. And so I was taken care of. But they, to this day, I still have not gotten my deductible back from that woman's accident. I'm just saying. So you never know what could happen when you're involved in a car accident. You just honestly don't know. And why would you add the underinsured, uninsured option on an umbrella policy if it's offered by your insurance company? Because it can give up to an additional $1 million to you to cover your medical bills, your loss of income, or your wife's or your kids, if they are on the insurance policy, right? So it gives you options. It does, and it keeps you in control of the circumstances and the situations. Let me tell you all something. When you have just liability insurance, or you don't have the right insurance in place to protect you, guess who was not protected? You. Doesn't matter how old the vehicle is. Doesn't matter, anything about that. The thing that matters is making sure that you put yourself in a position to where, regardless of what happened, as long as you're not breaking the law, right, you always have options. And that's what it's all about. So that's what we've covered, what an umbrella is, what it does not do, how it works, and what else can I tell you about it. So if your umbrella policy does not give you the option of having uninsured, underinsured, you may want to look at other options, right? And let me tell you all this last piece. If your umbrella policy does not include any of your rental properties, your boats, your motorcycle, any of your toys, or any things of your extras, guess what your umbrella policy does not do? It does not extend the policy power to those items. Correct. You would be amazed at how many people have rental properties and how many people have boats and motorcycles and extra things besides their car that their umbrella policy does not cover because it's not listed. And just to be clear, what I mean by covered, meaning that that umbrella policy and has that policy number to those extra things on the actual document, on the actual policy itself. Because you got to list out what you have so that the umbrella policy can extend cover over that. You got to list it. You gotta list it. So I'm just saying, you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. I keep telling y'all, this is why y'all need to be in communication with your insurance agent to make sure that your stuff is covered. Because guess what? Guess when it all comes out in the wash? When stuff hits the fan and you got to throw that dirty rag in the wash. I'm just saying. All right. I heart you. I appreciate you guys so much. Remember this. Always find something to be grateful for. Stay in a state of gratitude. Remember that. Always give thanks for something. Even if it's just the fact that your debit card was approved when you after you stood in line for 30 minutes waiting to get in the grocery store. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.